The question here is, how do you deal with people who claim to be Christians but deny all the basics of Christianity? They may even be pastors. And then when you try to point out their denial of these fundamentals, they avoid correction by charging that you are being unloving and judgmental and divisive, and that anybody who suggests that somebody's wrong outside of their camp is out of line. So I've actually thought of this kind of person some frequency because it comes up. And it appears in a situation like that, and this might even be mentioned to them, it sounds like they are comfortable citing the scripture only when, they are comfortable citing the scripture and standing on its authority only when they can use it to deny other things that the scripture says with authority. So there's kind of an inconsistency there, and I think it's fair to point that out. I think if somebody claims to be Christian, I think it's fair to ask them, what do you mean by that? Get a definition of the term. When they refer to themselves as Christian, they mean what by that? When they are objecting to your concerns about the fundamentals that they're denying, isn't their objection also guilty of the same thing that they're complaining about? That they're being unloving and critical and divisive and judgmental. So here you have kind of a practical suicide in play in terms of a tactic. Those are some of the thoughts that come to mind. One other thing is I think there's nothing wrong with saying, yes, I am being divisive if what you mean is I'm trying to divide important truth and important error. Yes, I am being judgmental if what you mean is that I am making a judgment about what is sound and what is not sound in important areas in theology. But neither of those things are condemned in the Scripture. They are, in fact, commanded in the Scripture that we are to assess things in that fashion. And as with regards to me being unloving, again, if I'm being unloving correcting someone else, then they are being unloving correcting me for correcting them. Secondly, 1 Corinthians 13, the chapter of love, says that love does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. So a person who raises this kind of objection is a slippery character because they strike me as being theologically and spiritually dishonest, intellectually dishonest, because they want to grab a couple of tasty tidbits for themselves from the Scriptures to defend themselves against criticism or censure regarding doctrinal positions they might hold that are clearly contrary to Scripture. They're trying to silence the opposition. And this, I think, is appropriate to point out in a gracious fashion.